Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Learning with Riha. I hope you all are doing good. So for today's lesson, I have selected a chapter from Class 10 West Bengal Board, which is Sea Fever by John Masefield. So John Masefield, he was born on 1st of June 1878. He was an English poet, writer and also a poet laureate. And he is also remembered as one of the famous children's writer, and some of his important works include The Midnight Folk and The Box of Delights, and the poems The Everlasting Mercy and The Sea Fever. So Sea Fever is one of the famous poems, okay, and this is about the wanderlust and the love of nature. In this poem, we get to see how poet has described the sea and about the beauty of sea and nature, and how poet urges or how poet is willing to spend his time on sea. So if you all want to know about the poem in detail, please do watch the video till the end, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you get notified every time I upload such videos. There are 3 stanzas in this poem, and we will be doing the individual stanza at a time. And now, without taking any time, let's move to the poem, The Sea Fever by John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and the star to steer her by, and the whale's kick and the wind's song and the white shells shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. Here, in the poem, fever means the endless urge or endless desire to go to the sea. So, sea fever basically means the desire or urge of the poet to visit the sea or to go to the sea and spend the time out there. So here, in the very first line of the very first stanza of the poem, we get to know that the poet has already visited the sea, and he is willing or he has that urge to visit the sea once again. Alright, and the poet wants to go to the sea because he loved the loneliness and the quietness of the sea so much that it was so pleasing to him that he wants to visit the sea again and again. And in order to visit the sea, all poet desires or he wants is a well-built tall ship and a star. He wants a star so that star can guide him while he's travel. Whenever it's dark or whenever he's traveling, he wants the star to be a guide for himself. He wants that steering of the wheel, and he misses the song of the winds. So by the word song of the wind, poet means that whenever winds blow, there's certain sounds created. And whenever winds blow and the ship's sail, it starts fluttering or shaking, and it creates certain sounds. And those sounds are so much pleasing to the poet that he feels or he thinks and he compares it to the songs. And the poet is also comparing the sea to a lady by using the word her. And he says that he is willing or he desires to spend the time in the sea like one person wants to spend their time with their lady love. And also, as the adventure will begin, the poet wants to see each and every morning, and he wants to enjoy the view where he can see the mist rising from the sea. He wants to enjoy each and every view, and he wants to spend his morning in the sea. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day, and the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. In the second stanza, the poet feels as if the running tide of the sea is calling him or attracting him towards her, and he feels that undeniable urge or that irresistible desire to visit the sea once again. And the poet also describes all the 5 senses of the human body being attracted or appealed in the second stanza. It allows the reader to feel as if they're standing at the shore of the beach, watching the white clouds flying, feeling the cold wind blowing, and listening to the seagulls crying, and feeling the saltiness of the flung spray and the blown spume on the tongue and the nose. And the flung spray is the splashes of the water, and the blown spume is the bubbles that the sea creates in the water when the ship is sailing on it. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the girl's way and the well's way where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trek's over. Here, in the third and the final stanza, we get to see that the poet has justified the theme of the poem, which is wanderlust, by comparing the life in the sea to the life of a gypsy. Gypsies are the person who travels aimlessly and without any destination, and the poet, even he wants to go to the sea and he wants to live the life of gypsies. And the poet, he wants to go to the sea because he is missing all the whales and the seagulls that are there in the sea, and also he is longing to hear the story from the fellow partner or the fellow sailor that's there in the sea with him in the ship. And in last line of the final stanza, poet describes how peaceful the life at the sea or the ship is. He misses all the good night's sleep and the sweet dreams which poet gets in the sea after the long and tiring trip. This is how the poem ends, and we get to see that the poet has that undying desire and intense will to visit the sea. It is because in his real life he has already worked as a sailor before, and even after he left the job, he is willing to go to the sea once again because of all the beautiful experiences and all the wonderful views he has gathered or he has experienced while he was in the sea. I hope you all enjoyed the poem, and if you all found the video and the information helpful, please do not forget to like it and share it with your friends. And please feel free to write it down in the comment section below if you have any doubts, confusion or any questions, or you can also write down if you want me to cover any chapter of your choice. That's it for today. Subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon, stay home, stay safe and keep learning.